Hello everybody and welcome back to another video. Now in today's video we're going to be taking a look at a version of Windows 95 that came out of Indiana University. Here it is right here. So yes, this is a copy of Windows 95, but what makes this special is that it was intended for use only by students, faculty, and staff at Indiana University. Now, I got this, I'm sure some of you guys might be wondering how I got this. I purchased these from somebody on eBay, I think back in 2012, 2013, it was many years ago. And I purchased this along with a huge lot of a bunch of Mac software, and I wasn't even expecting these to be in there. And so I got a copy of Windows 95, Microsoft Office for Mac, and Windows 98, all on discs that look just like these and that have the Indiana University logo down there. Now, I made a video on the Windows 98 version a few years ago, and spoiler alert, it really wasn't anything special. There was no special branding or anything like that. It was just a generic copy of Windows 98, but the only difference was the setup process already had a product key entered, and it was interesting because the product key on the 98 disk was actually printed on the disk right below or right above where it says not for resale. On the Windows 98 disk there was a product key there. You see, we don't have that on the Windows 95 disk at all. So yeah, we're doing this on the $5 Windows 98 PC because, well, we always do these kind of videos on this computer. So we're going to pop in the disk of Windows 95 and pop it into the drive there. I have another disk right here. You can see this is another Windows 95 disk. And yeah, I wasn't really, like, when I opened up this box, and I think I have a recording of it, I should probably upload it to the channel because that would actually be pretty cool to take a look at, because there was a lot of interesting stuff in that box, including this mysterious black book right here. There were 3 of these, and you might be saying, okay, what is this? This is a instruction manual for Microsoft CP/M Basic from November 8th, 1977. And you can see someone wrote needs 28K or better of memory to run. Now, for those of you who know a thing or two about Microsoft's history and just the history of computing in general, you might know that Microsoft Basic was installed on the MIT's Altair. And in fact, this is an Altair Extended Basic manual. This is contained behind these first few pages, which are release notes for the new version of Basic. So yes, this is a manual for Altair Extended Basic. And what's really cool is, so you can see we've got like an introductory page here. But my favorite line from this entire thing, it's just really cool, like, to look through, but my favorite line from this entire thing is on this page right here, where it says in the middle of the page, if any immediate problems with MIT software are encountered, feel free to give us a call at 505-265-7553. The software department is at extension 3, and the joint authors of the Altair Basic Interpreter, Bill Gates, Paul Allen, and Monte Davidoff, will be glad to assist you. So yeah, this was back when you could just call up Bill Gates. I just thought that was really cool, and I posted a photo of that over on Twitter, and some of you guys probably saw it there. But what I'm going to do is, you can see Windows 98 is already complaining that we've put in a disk with an operating system version that's lower than Windows 98. But you know what? We're going to install it anyway. We're going to have to actually boot off of a Windows 95 boot disk, which, let me grab one of those. Always have one of these on hand. Here's our Windows 95 boot disk. We're going to pop that into the floppy disk drive, and you know what? We're just going to restart. Alright everybody, so we're here at the wonderful MS-DOS prompt. So the first thing we got to do is, you know what? We're just going to format the C drive because we've already got an MS-DOS partition already set up because we have Windows 98 installed on this. Alright, we're going to press enter, and we are going to, once it gives us the prompt again, we're going to go to the R drive, and we're going to run setup. We'll see if this is any different. My guess is if any changes were made, I mean, judging from what we saw with the Windows 98 disk, I'm pretty certain this is not going to be any different than a regular copy of Windows 95, aside from the fact that it'll probably have the product key already entered in here for us. So, collecting information about your computer, see Windows, that's fine. And we're going to go with a custom installation, and okay, so there's no name or anything like that. Michael, you know what, we're going to say the company is Indiana University, if I can spell correctly. Indiana University. Okay, so it does not ask us for a product key. Usually right after you enter your name and organization, it will ask you for a product key. So we're going to say yes, and we do have a sound card. Okay, this has happened so many times with this computer, where when you check, I think that's what it is, what I tried before. When you check sound card, like look, I'm moving the mouse right now, and the entire computer is locked up. It ain't doing anything, so we're gonna have to restart. Okay, so at this point we're gonna not select any of these and just click next, and now it'll get through this totally fine. Oh no, it's doing it again? Oh man, okay. No, I think I know what this is. This must be an older version of Windows 95, because we had this happen in my floppy disk video when I tried to install Windows 95 from 29 floppy diskettes. It did the exact same thing. I think I just had to manually specify hardware. Regardless of if I select sound card, it's just going to freeze there. This must be an older version of Windows 95. Although it might not be, because the copyright date on this disk is 1997. And we're going to no, I want to modify the hardware list. And we're going to just check the hardware that we have. We don't have a network adapter. We do have a sound card. Though it's the internal, we're just going to do Sound Blaster compatible. Keyboard, just a generic keyboard. Hard disk, floppy disk controller. CD-ROM drive, display. It always freezes at about 80, whatever percent, 82%. And you can tell because, I mean, it might look like it's frozen right now, but I can still move the mouse around. Yep, see, now it's at 91%, so it got past whatever it was locking up on before. And there we go, we got past it. So we're gonna not get any of this, and we're gonna get everything on this screen. So yes, we want accessibility options, accessories, communications, disk tools. You know what? We're going to get all these things anyway. Microsoft Network was on the last screen. We're just going to get everything. Alright, we got everything selected. Let's go. And next, workgroup Indiana Universe. Let's just say IU. So yeah, guys, so far, nothing special. Just like the Windows 98 Indiana University disk. It just, the only thing it does is it changes, or it has the product key already entered in there for you. So you could probably tell that there's definitely like a volume licensing agreement going on here, because, you know, they would just purchase a set amount of licenses, and these discs were not distributed by Microsoft. You can tell that from this writing on the interior of the disc right here, where it says distributed through University Information Technology Services. So these were, I assume, made by the university, and then they were, you know, distributed from within, so like the IT people could, you know, get these disks to install Windows 95 on however many computers that they needed. So we're finished with the setup here. We're going to restart, and while I'm showing you guys these disks, here is the Windows 98 one. The only difference between these, and I mean, it's in the exact same design, just this color here is orange as opposed to red, and it has the product key printed on the right side, which I'm just covering up. It's got the same branding down here, it's got the same little disclaimer, and here is the Office for Macintosh one. You can see it's green as opposed to orange or red, and it's got the exact same, you know, disclaimer, the same design. Alright, so disk is in. Is this going to do the thing where it's not going to load the driver? It's not going to load the driver. Dang it. This has happened before. This is so annoying. For whatever reason, it just does not like to load the CD-ROM driver at this point in the setup. And this happens in a virtual machine as well. And at first, when this happens, this would happen all the time. I thought it was a VMware thing, because I would always use, and I still use VMware to run virtual machines, and I just thought it was a VMware specific issue. But no, this happens on real hardware. So what we got to do is press Control-Alt-Delete and shut down, and we got to boot back off of the disk and copy the contents from the Win95 folder over to the hard disk, which I'm not going to show you guys that whole process because we've done it before on this channel. I'm sure you all know how it works. And there we go. Setup is finished configuring your system. We need to restart. Alrighty. So we're restarting right now, and we're not going to get the proper display driver. I'm sure you guys probably know that, but I'm hoping that we'll get sound to work. Let's see if we get it working. Looks like the answer is no. So yeah, here's Windows 95 running in its low color, low resolution mode, which is just wonderful. So yeah, there are no unique programs that are installed. There's nothing really special. The only thing that it did, we have this README file. This is just your standard Windows 95 README. So it is just a generic version of Windows 95, a standard copy. The only difference being that it had the product key already entered in the setup. And the reason I'm doing this video, I probably should have said this earlier, but this was suggested. That's why that I'm taking a look at this, because there were some of you guys, when I mentioned in my obscure tech collection video that I have these discs, and I talked about the video I already made on the Windows 98 one, at least one of you guys reached out and said, could you do a full video on the other two copies you have, the Windows 95 copy and the Office for Macintosh copy. And since we got this installed pretty quickly, and since this is definitely a short video so far by MJD standards, we're going to check out Office for Macintosh and see if this is any different. My guess is probably not. It's just going to probably do the same thing with the product key, have that already entered in there for us. But to take a look at this, we're going to have to get a Mac. So let me go ahead and grab one of my Macintosh computers, and I'll be right back with you guys. This is a site that a lot of you probably haven't seen in a while on this channel. This is my iBook G3 clamshell Indigo Firewire model that I did. This was one of the first videos I ever did on this channel, was an unboxing of this laptop. I got this literally around the time that I opened my YouTube account, and I've mentioned this on the channel before, but for a lot of you new guys, and thank you to all of the new people who have subscribed this year. This channel has literally doubled in size so far this year. We started out with 50,000 subscribers, and we're at over 100,000 subscribers now. So thank you to all of you for subscribing and watching the videos. But yes, this was my second Apple computer that I ever got, and it did come with the awesome yo-yo charger. Yes, this is one of the coolest chargers Apple ever made, at least I think. And the entire thing is contained, well, not the entire thing, you've got obviously the part that goes into the wall that sits on top like this hump here, but the cord for the laptop is contained in this yo-yo, which I think is just super cool. So we're going to plug it into the computer here, if I can find the power port. There it is. Because the battery is totally shot on this, and I know that is not a surprise, but we'll go ahead and set the charger aside. We'll open this thing up and power it on. So I'm using this computer because it is the oldest, well actually no, it's not the oldest Mac laptop that I have, but it's the oldest, it's the closest in time period that it's close enough to this version of Microsoft Office. Now, what version of Microsoft Office is this? I am actually not sure, believe it or not. It just says Office for Macintosh. Now, the copyright date here, if we look at this, 1985 to 1997, and this is the same copyright date on all of these discs. So I'm guessing this is probably, I mean, Office 97 was a Windows thing. I'm guessing this is the Mac equivalent version from that time. I think it might have just been called Office for Macintosh. We're going to put in this disk to the tray loading CD drive, if we can get that out. Here it is. Disk is inserted. And by the way, this is running, this machine is actually dual booted. It's running OS 10.3.9 and OS 9, I think 9.0.4. So you can hear the disk drive spinning up there. Okay, so it's Office 4.2.1b, I guess is the version number. And oh yeah, look at this. It's got, so 34 installed disks. These were all floppy disks, just all on this one CD, which is great. So yeah, these are all of the individual diskettes. So we're gonna go ahead and just run the setup program. And launching this, I believe, will launch Classic, because yes, this is a Mac OS 9 application. And so, oh, I have 9.1, Mac OS 9.1. So it's just recommending that I upgrade to Mac OS 9.2. And yeah, this is going to launch Classic. So you know what? I have a much better idea. Let's just quit out of Classic and load right into Mac OS 9. So we're going to stop Classic, and we're going to open up System Preferences, which, man, that's the old System Preferences icon. And we are going to go to Startup Disk right here, and we're going to select Mac OS 9. There it is, Mac OS 9.1. So we're going to restart into that. And here we are. Oh yeah, I think that the clock battery is like super dead in this as well. It thinks it's, yeah, December 31st, 69. Yeah, the clock battery is definitely dead in this. Yep, and they were just complaining about it. Your Macintosh's clock is set to a year before 1973. You know, we should probably change this, just so that we don't get any problems. I don't know if the setup would complain. It might, but we're just gonna change the date and time to, let's just set it to 1999. Let's set it to New Year's Eve, 1999, and we'll roll with that. So we're going to open up here's our CD icon down here at the bottom. You can see there's a lot of stuff on here. We even have iMovie, AppleWorks 6. So here it is. We're going to launch Microsoft Office Setup, and the CD has expired. You may return this CD to the place of purchase for a free replacement. Oh, it expired. Okay, well we can easily change that. But yeah, check this out. Oh, it's the like the narrator's talking. So we can easily change this by just setting the date back, but this is a message from Indiana. Like, this says contact University Information Technology Services at iuware@indiana.edu. And so you would have to, the offer for free replacements expires at 5 p.m. February 1st, 1999. Only the original CD purchased or produced by University Information Technology Services will be replaced. So there's confirmation that these discs are produced by the university. You must be a currently enrolled student or employee, which I'm not either of those. But I believe we can just set the date back to sometime in, I'm just going to set it like to 1997. So we'll go back to date and time, and we'll set this down to 12/31/1997, and we'll run it again. Okay, there we go. You must agree to the following terms in order to use this software. You must be a student. So this is already different because we're actually getting a message here, a disclaimer telling us, and there comes the narrator again. We're just going to click to get out of that. You must be a student or employee of Indiana University. You may retain the license to use this software when you are no longer a student of Indiana University. Oh, so you can keep using the software even if you're, like, once you graduate, which is cool. You may not transfer your right to use this software to anyone. You may not give, loan, sell, rent, or leave. Well, someone sold this to me, so they're in violation of the license agreement. No one may distribute this software without the explicit written permission of the Office of the Vice President for Information Technology, Indiana University. Well, I hope they don't mind that I'm doing this video on their software here. I agree. I could not agree more. And here we go. Okay. Okay, Microsoft setup was not completed success. What the heck happened? It just like started to load and then it immediately crashed. Okay. Could it be a date thing? Maybe we can set the date back even farther, but I don't think that's the case. Let's set it to 96. I wonder if this is an issue with, you know, the fact that the hardware in this machine could be too new, because well, here are the system requirements. We need 8 megabytes of RAM and 33 megabytes of hard disk space for a typical install. Now, this is a G3 system, and this specific model came out in 2000. So we have 320 megabytes of memory, and I mean, we have plenty of disk space, but you know, the memory, like there might be too much memory. Although I would think it would give us like a memory error. It just literally quits out of the installation. We could try to run this under Classic. You know, it's going to do the exact same thing. Microsoft setup was not completed successfully. Alright, so slight change of plans. We're here on my main computer with Macintosh.js open. I did a video on this program a few months ago. This is a self-contained Electron-based application that emulates Mac OS 8, and Microsoft Office, the setup program at least, actually works in this. So here we have the setup program. I've put in the same disk into my computer's drive, and while I ripped the contents of the disk to create an image of it so we could use it with Macintosh.js. And you see we get that same disclaimer right here, so we're going to agree to it. And instead of immediately quitting and saying that it could not complete installation, here we are at the Welcome to the Microsoft Office 4.2.1b installation application setup screen. So this is the version number 4.2.1b, and we're going to click on OK to install it. So we're going to put in our name as Michael and the organization as Indiana University once again. So here is our product identification number. That looks good. And we are going to, okay, please select a destination folder for your new software. That is fine with me. We'll click Setup. and we're going to do a complete installation. So we'll just go with Microsoft Office for the Macintosh. So yeah, here's our list of applications. So we have plenty of space available. This is a 313 we have 313 megabytes of available disk space on this virtual drive, but we're just going to check everything. So we're going to get Excel, Word, PowerPoint, the Office Manager, shared applications, and under Tools here, we have the Microsoft system information, setup, font, spelling, shared converters, all that good stuff. So we're going to click on Continue, and it says your graphs will be updated automatically to Microsoft Graph 5.0. Sounds good. And we are using American English because we're here in the US. So it gives you that option though if you were in the UK to switch to British English, or if you just prefer British English over American English. And yeah, so here is our very Microsoft style setup. I mean, this is pretty common from Microsoft products of this time, although on Windows you'll typically have a full screen like blue to black gradient background. I mean, we've seen that with Microsoft Bob, with even some of the Microsoft Office applications that we took a look at in some previous videos, where you have this installer here in the center, and then it's got a brief set of cards essentially that it's going through and showing you some cool things about the software. So it's saying it's easier to use. This is how to learn Excel. Learning about Microsoft Excel is fun and easy. And oh, if you're wondering how I got this to install without the whole date issue, apparently, at least from what I can tell, Macintosh.js syncs the virtual machine's time with the host system's time, and I wasn't able to find a way to disable that. So I just had to set my host system time to 1996, and that worked because it obviously synced with the VM, and we were all good. So if you're trying to do this in Macintosh.js and you're trying to install an application that needs the system to be set to a specific date, at least from what I can tell, you have to set your host system's clock back to whatever date that you need for the application to work. So here we have finished. It's just asking us to restart, so we'll click on Restart. And okay, set up, replace, or during your installation, set up, replace, or attempted to remove one or more system files that were in use and therefore could not be directly overwritten. These files have been moved to the trash and can be inspected or deleted at your convenience after the system restarts. Alrighty, so the VM is going to restart here, and here it is on the root of the Macintosh.js drive. Microsoft Office, we can go in here. And so we have the setup program once again, but we can obviously launch. We have Word 6, PowerPoint 4, and Excel 5. So we'll start with Word. So we'll open this up. The applications are going to be your standard Microsoft Office applications. Obviously, I put in the organization as Indiana University. That was not the setup's doing. So really, the setup, it just added that little portion at the beginning where it told you about the terms, that you can't share this outside of Indiana University, and the fact that, this expires, like the license to use this expires, where you would have to take the disk back to the department that handles all this stuff at the university, and then they would replace it for you if you fell within those guidelines. Or you could just set your system's clock back to before the expiration date and use it totally fine as we're doing here. So we can say, hello world, I am typing this on Word, and then let's say we want to save this document, so we can go to File and we can save as, and let's save it as awesome Word, if I can spell this correctly, Word doc. And we can do the same thing with Microsoft Excel. Oh, well, maybe we're going to get a bomb screen. Sorry, a system error occurred. Finder, error type 10. Alright, we'll restart then. Yeah, so we'll just briefly take a look at Excel and PowerPoint before we end the video off. But yeah, they just appear to be standard Microsoft Office programs. Nothing really unique about, any branding or anything like that, which is to be expected. So here is Microsoft Excel. This is again version 5.0A. And yeah, there's all the licensing information there. And we also, last but not least, have Microsoft PowerPoint 4. Here's Microsoft PowerPoint in all of its glory. Before you begin working, we recommend that you go through the animated quick preview for a brief tour. Sure, let's do that. Oh, never mind, we can't because we don't have enough memory to run Macromedia Player. So yeah, Microsoft PowerPoint, I'm sure we all know how it works, and we'll go to the About screen once more. So PowerPoint version 4.0, copyright 87 to 94, Microsoft Corporation. And yeah, guys, there it is. So that is the Indiana University sort of special edition of Microsoft Office and Windows 95. And as we saw, in this video, the Windows 95 version isn't really that special. The only thing that makes it different from a standard retail or OEM copy is the fact that it auto puts in the product key for you. Though the Microsoft Office for Mac disk, it does have that little beginning portion before the setup loads where it tells you about the license agreement and the terms and, the fact that you can't distribute this outside of the university, which is pretty cool. But guys, that's going to wrap it up for today's video. Hopefully you all enjoyed this one. If you did, definitely be sure to give it a thumbs up and get subscribed down below and turn on those channel notifications if you haven't already to get notified whenever I upload a new video, which I do multiple times every single week on this channel. And as always, guys, I want to thank you all so much for watching, and I will see you in the next video.